Games, my guy.
Boom goes the dynamite.
It's only a game. Why did you catch the man?
Hello, and welcome back to Games My Guy podcast, the esports podcast by fans for fans. My name is Patrick Aches Avery Kenny, and joined, as always, is ya boy with the hat, with the name, with the fame, Ethan Goose Butler. How's it going, man?
Oh, you know, I'm just sitting here in my throne, ready to dish out all the juice that everyone loves. Dish on all the juice, not dish out. Everyone should know it already. But we're here to talk about it and gush about it.
Yeah, we're here to give our 2 cents for whatever that's worth. But
Not worth a lot, but it might get you more. You'd have 2 cents more than you did before.
It's true. But before we get into that, I mean, Ethan, you had a pretty stellar Overwatch night last night, a 7-1 victory or 7-1 game score. That's pretty sick.
It's pretty hype as well, too. It was over tank and support because I was playing main tank and main support. So I was rocking the Reinhardt, as I do. And we had our good boy Larry just pumping me full of the heals. He was playing Anna at times. He just like, Goose, go in. And he just nano me. I'd be like, I'm not ready. I just charge in and just start swinging. I don't even care.
Yeah, I'm not ready. And then the nano happens and you're like, I'm totally ready. And
I've
you
never
just
been
go.
more ready for anything than my entire life.
That's how I always feel when I get nanoed as Ryan. It's like I'm never ready until I'm nanoed, and I'm like, oh my god, I am so strong. And then you just go in.
Swing.
I
Because
swing.
just thick Ryan is active now, so you're just like hitting 85 damage with your hammer
Oh,
and like just whacking them around. Nano Ryan with a hand. Holy fuck! But like, I remember the one time like I got play of the game off a with shatter too. Like I got in the shatter demon land. I just kind of just one behind the Sigma shield. Like we full held a couple teams last night. It was great.
nice.
It was so good.
Oh.
It just feels right. And I needed it too. I was like, I've been close to plat too many times, and like I'm now getting there again. One guy though, he literally said the one game we lost in the chat before we started. The guy was just like, "Oh, I'm one game from plat," and we were always like, "Oh, you fucking idiot! Now we're gonna lose." And we did lose.
Yeah,
badly.
That's the ultimate jinx, is saying you're almost in plat. That is the ultimate jinx.
After plat, everything's fine, but getting into that rank is nightmare fuel.
It's true. I remember back in the day when we were all playing like every day. Yeah, that was like the goal. It was to get to plat. And then once we got to plat, we were like, that's the oasis. Like once you're there, you're just moving on.
And we know how that sounds, but hear us out. For gold, silvery gold plebs like us, who we were for a while, that was the dream. That was the promised land that we never could achieve. That we could see it, but it just kept getting further away the closer we got.
It's true. It's true. I made it to diamond once, and that was for healing, and that I peaked in diamond, honestly.
Yeah, like I got the closest I got the tank plat once.
Oh.
And then I was like, I don't want to play anymore. Everyone's like, all right, come on, one more. I was like, no, I just got the plat, guys. Come on. All right, one more. Fine, one more. And we lost that game. I was just like, no! I'm so close.
You bastards. You took it all away.
I told you I didn't wanna.
You bastards took it all away. You took it away from me.
It was I flew too close to the sun.
It's true.
But that's why every time I play, I only play comp DPS during placements. Because I'm not a great DPS player. So I got the gold finally. I was just like, you know what, I'm done. And then I placed it back in gold up like I was like 20 SR higher than I did in the last placements. All right, that's good. Wait till next season. And then I'm just gonna slowly climb.
Yeah. Well, that's the way to just do your placements and you just gain like 10 SR every season.
Yeah, damn right. I'm gonna one trick Torb, I think, in the next DPS.
Very
Torb
good.
or Echo, probably Torb though.
Because he's more useful, right?
He can hammer and Echo can't hammer.
Yeah,
so.
That's true.
I did hammer Ryan to death once, and I almost typed in the chat. I was like, mine better.
That's not a hammer. This is a hammer. Boink.
And that's pretty much what happened. And he died. He was already low. I was like, I did it.
My work here is done. Well, 7-1, you're on your way back. I mean, plat is not so far away. It's coming.
I can dream. Like, hear us if anyone's listening and you're a high ranked player listening to us talk about how great it must be to be in plat. We know what you're thinking, but let us have this. Okay? We have so little, and you have so much. Let us have this.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, we'll get there one day. One day.
Let us
Maybe
cling to our meager dreams.
yeah, maybe in Overwatch 2. Who knows? Who knows?
Exactly.
But in the Overwatch League, however, we've got some pretty spicy things that have been going on. We've got full roster listings. We've got players that we thought were dead, not dead, but like not in the scene anymore, coming back out of retirement. Players going back to the promised land, their homes where they started. We've got a lot to cover. So
much.
Yeah, I know. So Ethan, where do you think we should start?
Honestly, I don't even know, man. I just literally this week has been like Christmas. Literally came 2 weeks early this week. Like, it was just everything happened at like within a span of 3 days. Just because Platchat ended recording on Tuesday, and there was nothing. So everyone thought there was gonna be happening. And Wednesday came around, and oh, good lord, it all came together. Paris, Mayhem, Outlaws, NYXL, Valiant. Everyone's dropping shit this week. I needed this. I needed it in my veins. I didn't know what to do on Wednesday when I was at work. I was just sitting there. I was just like, I needed some juice in the afternoon, and no one was giving it to me. So I was just tired and sad. And then Wednesday rolled around, and Avala, the queen of my heart, and the queen of Paris, blessed us with the Paris roster reveal. They're still missing at least one player, but let's start with Paris. I gotta start with Paris because
we got to. There was a lot of talk
hell.
about which players were going to go back. I know a lot of people were upset that Ben Best wasn't considered, but the team they've made, I know, Ethan. Yes, you as well.
He's
but
so handsome.
He's so
and
handsome.
He's so good.
He really proved himself last year, but it just didn't fit with what Paris was going for. So, what's the roster, Ethan? Let's hear their names. Speak their name.
All right, we'll start at the supports because normally I start at the top with the tanks, but I'm going to go on the other end of the roster. We're starting with supports today. We got Neptuno coming down from the Guangzhou Charge, where he was having so many visa troubles where he wasn't able to play, so he hasn't played in a while. But he's been grinding it out. He played so hard during trials, apparently, and he just pounded through and got on the team. So that's great. He's a great veteran presence to have, especially with the rest of the team is mostly rookies or people who have minimal experience in the lead.
Totally.
So you have Neptuno with Khan, who's formerly known as I'll Be the Best from Aglilites / he was on Young and Beautiful. He's widely considered to be one of the best Western flat supports in the game. Like Crimzo even said, like on Twitter, he said the best flat support I went up against, a Western flat support I went up against was Khan.
Yeah, I remember you. I remember you telling me that, and that's a huge praise coming from Crimzo.
Exactly.
Like that's huge, 100%.
Yeah, his approval, like Crimzo, I rate pretty high. So like that's to have him say that is great.
Yeah. Do you think Khan is going to be the new alarm of 2021?
I don't want to get in trouble with Overwatch Feed fans by saying so. I don't know. I wish him all the best, and I think he could, like the Genghis Khan before him. It's different spelling, but I'm running with it. Is he could conquer the world if given the chance. I think he's got the mechanics. He's looking really strong, and with a solid support partner in Neptuno, I think he'll be able to do pretty well. I think he's just surprised a lot of people, at least, because especially if you didn't watch EU contenders.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's a thing is like a lot of the new signings are coming from contenders, and then we have a collegiate signing, which we'll talk about later in this episode. But a lot of players that are coming in that honestly the general like viewing audience hasn't really seen him. So there's going to be a lot of big shoes to fill, and the audience needs to see why these players are here and why they're getting signed.
Yeah. Khan has a pretty big shoes to fill in the sense that Fielder was doing pretty well last year.
Everyone thought Fielder was going to stay just because of how good he was.
I think we all thought everyone was going to stay on Paris. but then they wanted to go maybe a little more of a budget team, maybe perhaps. I'm not confirming that. I'm just saying that and then Hastro maybe got wind of that and was just like he brought out his fucking diamond crusted gold credit card and just he threw it at Rush and said, "Bring the boys. We're going to Dallas."
He threw it on the table. It was like, just get everyone, all right?
And he just said, he's like, "Shut the fuck up, Dwayne. on an adventure with the boys. And he went around the aisle and he just like he's like, all right, I'll take a sparkle in the shopping cart. He just put a sparkle, all the boys in the shopping cart. Then he traveled to Shanghai, grabbed Fearless. He went to Houston, slapped Cool Man in the face, and said, "Your hair may be nice, but my wallet's bigger." So he just grabbed everyone. And so yeah, Dallas took all their players. And then Vala was left with a difficult task of rebuilding a team who had lost a lot of French talent too, because French fans are very territorial, just like Canadian fans. That's what all fans are, to be honest. They like to see people from their home countries in the lead.
For sure.
So like we Canadians are very proud of like the 4 we have now in the lead.
There
was more.
Yeah, the 4 horsemen. We
still need hit stands. So if there's any of you Canadians on the top of the ladder who could just get to stepping, we need a hit stand for World Cup.
Just be discovered already. Come on.
Yeah, God. Talk to Jane or something. I don't know. But yeah, like Paris also, I think their biggest strong suit, we'll talk about their tanks later, but the biggest strong suit is their DPS so far, which is, man, Patrick, it's ace. My sweet prince.
Yes.
It's Only God and Naga. I've been wanting Naga in the league for a while, but Only God and Naga, that's a scary DPS line, man.
It is. It is. You showed me Naga, and since you've shown me Naga, I've watched some of his games. Yeah. He's pretty freaking good. Like I would put him on the same level as like Shockwave in the sense that like he's like this younger talent who's been kind of around, and he's finally getting his shot and getting lined up with Onigod like that. That's a solid lineup. Yeah,
like I would say, I don't know. I've been watching your EU contenders the past couple months, especially with Obey doing as well as they did, like beating British Hurricane.
Yeah,
and Naga is really strong flex DPS. Like he can cover, his hero pool is pretty wide too. Like he can cover a lot of different things. But putting him with Onigod too, like Onigod, I've never heard the term smurfing in contenders be more true than when I watched Onigod play. Like, because he was like clapping cheats, and it wasn't fun for other teams. Like he was just sniping, tracering, other things. He was just doing it. He was killing everybody, and I was like, okay, Onigod, have mercy, please. Like,
right.
They have families.
Okay, fine. You can come back to the Overwatch League. God, jeez.
Jeez, you didn't need to do this. Like, maybe you did.
In our own home, it's like, yeah, he dominated, and that's a huge pickup for Paris. They were definitely missing a lot of pieces. Now that Soon is not on that roster, I mean, it's
Etsy, Sparkle, like those are big shoes to fill. But these, with probably the budget they have, like, and wanting to have represent European talent, there's a lot of EU talent. We gotta let that say it. Like EU is very strong. People just don't really give it the credit it deserves, I think.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's so fair. And yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what Paris is going to look like going forward. They're building a really, really strong roster, and I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions about like if this team is going to gel well, like will these pieces fit together? But with Neptuno, honestly, like leading the charge, being the veteran presence that I think this team really, really needs, especially with the younger players like Khan and Naga. I think this is going to be a really, really interesting team to watch, and they're definitely. I don't know, just because the San Francisco Shock have a permanent stay in top 3. I don't know where Paris is going to land necessarily, but they're definitely going to destroy the lower bracket. Like they're not going to be a bottom 5 team.
I don't think so. It's hard to say because I think other teams are looking a little. Obviously, you never know how teams can perform. I've seen some surprise, like the Valiant. Some people, not me, want to make that very clear. I was very on board with the Valiant. I'm not Sideshow. I believed in them. I'm more Custa. But I think they could be like a Valiant team, type of team from last year. Like they're a team. People aren't sure what to think of them. Like they may have some people who could turn out well, like they had TSP, but I think they're going to surprise a lot of people because like we talked about all the rest of the team, but like Elevote and Dawn as their tank line is pretty solid. Like Dawn must have performed very well in trials as well. He's always looked really solid in contenders and had really great performances. But some people were wanting other tanks, but he must have. And he even said on Twitter, he's like, such that people are talking about how they'd rather have other people when the other people you mentioned were in the trials I had, and here I am, who's gotten the opportunity.
Yeah.
And so like him and Elevate, especially with Elevo too. Elevo's a great off tank to
Yeah,
partner
and
with.
we saw him in the Overwatch League last year as well, and he
Yeah.
was performing pretty well. But it was on a team that wasn't doing well. So it was
No.
it was one of those situations that I think honestly, I think it happens more often to off tanks than anyone else. Off tanks are always like if the team's bad, it's hard for an off tank to really show how good they are. You know, it's really difficult
Yeah.
just with the play style that they'll pick. Like Elevote, he was playing Diva for most of it. Like it's really hard to show your skills in a team that can't support you in that way. So it'll be interesting to see where Elevote goes. And speaking of the Valiant, did you see where McGravy ended up?
He's being revived.
He's being revived. So is Muma. They're both being
Muma,
revived.
yes.
What
I
the
watched
fuck?
their game last night.
You did?
I did because it's on YouTube. Because well, I didn't catch it live, but yes, it was Thursday. Yeah, no, so I didn't catch it live. I watched it late last night, and I watched Muma, McGravy, Paintbrush, Apply, the former Overwatch lads come in and literally just kind of fucked shit up. Like they actually had a really strong game. I'm hoping Muma can rediscover some of his. I think it's less that Muma got worse sometimes. He seems to just lose passion. Like if you watch like the behind the scenes series from season 1, he was so animated and like making jokes and flying around with the team and having a good time.
Yeah.
Post season 1, he looks sad. I just like he does not look like he's happy. So I'm hoping if he wants to continue playing Overwatch as a professional, he rediscovers his love of the game.
Yeah.
And he can maybe find a way back. But he needs to earn it. He needs to actually earn it now.
Yeah.
He's been coasting a bit, so he needs to earn his spot.
He's been coasting, but he's also the Outlaws had to put hydration in as main tank.
Yeah.
Like come on. Anyways,
I'll give hydration credit, but like
that's just not a good look for your main tank.
No. Like Orisa Ball hydration can play pretty well. But like Winston Ryan requires another level of understanding of the position.
Exactly.
Function.
So I'm excited for that group. I didn't know they had a game last night. I didn't see it, so I gotta go watch that after this.
I know it's the final game in the stream, so you have to skip through about 6 hours, 6.5 hours.
I'll watch it all. Yeah.
There are some good ones in there. I think there was some good EU ones. You see Ben Best is playing with Young and Beautiful.
Nice.
So there's that. There's other games. American Tornado. I don't know if they played. No, they didn't. But I don't know. Some cool games.
Nice.
But
nice.
yeah, in short, Paris, I'm excited. Will I get a jersey? Probably. Probably get one for Nadia, maybe, or no, it's probably Nadia.
I think you
Nadia
have to.
Not Elevote.
I think you have to at this point. You've been gassing Naga up this whole time. I think you have to get a jersey now.
I have to. I'm committed.
Yeah, but since we were on the topic of the LA Valiant,
yes.
I think we need to talk about one of the 4 good Canadian boys that are left in this league.
I don't have a Canadian flag at the ready, but I'm waving my flag here for Canada.
He's the in and out / sitting in a car in the rain boy kid wonder Aglilites is making his way back to the LA Valiant, and honestly, I'm cool with that. Like I was really sad to see him leave the Defiant. I thought he had a really good place here, but he just wasn't being used to his potential, and he wasn't meeting his potential here either.
No,
so I'm really excited for him on the Valiant. I think that's a really, really solid pickup for the Valiant also after they're doing this big rebuild. But yeah, what do you think about Agility's homecoming?
I'm really happy he's still in the lead. That's my main thing. Just like we talked about Canadians in the lead. It's an endangered species, okay? Half of 95-97% of them are on the Vancouver Titans right now. So I was like, I'm just praying, holding out hope maybe they have a good season, and I want to see some Canadians still in the lead, because that was a treat watching some Canadian boys in the lead. And so I think Agilities, had a rough season on Toronto outside of the Genji meta. That's can't be denied. They brought in Zit to play other heroes even.
Yeah.
But I think that the Toronto had a weird season in that they had big names. They went for popular over maybe prime players. And so they had to have a weird mid-ground season where they sometimes looked good, sometimes didn't. But then they lost. They lost their coach, I think, halfway through again.
Yeah.
They lost their general manager, so the structure was all over the place. Like it was a bit of a mess, to be honest. And so like it was hard for a lot of the players to thrive in that function. And then I think the Agilities going back to LA is probably for the best for him. I would have loved to see him on Vancouver, but like under the system Packing 10's created, I think he'll get the best that you can get out of Agilities. I think if anyone can do it, it's Packing 10 and the boys.
For sure. And I think that's where he's going to do his best. And I think you hit the nail on the head with Packing 10. I think that he's the guy to do it, for sure.
It's a bit bittersweet though, because Gamer Snacks isn't the thing because Agility's in there. But I've seen some other people's suggestions for it. I've seen some pretty good ones.
Ooh.
Someone said it should be Gamer Shacks and should be Agilities and Shacks together, trying treats. I think someone said Adam could do it because he's Australian and that'd kind of be funny. I thought maybe just keep the flight support dream alive. Maybe Agilities and Lastro are eating treats.
Yeah.
The best one though I think might have been Dreamer, because Dreamer's kind of funny, is kind of wacky on Twitter and crazy in a good way. So Agilities with like the kind of high energy kind of fuck the crazy Dreamer would be a great, I think. Yeah. I just want to see more Agility Gamer Snatches. I really enjoyed that series. One, it actually looked tasty treats. And I just want to see the more content like that. Toronto tried it a little bit, but they didn't really commit to it. So to bring it back.
Yeah.
And no. They said like, yeah, Gamer Shats and Adam should be doing Custom News Network because he's, again, Australian has got to keep that alive.
Yeah. And honestly, if he can bring anyone on to keep that alive, it would be for the best.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, I agree with you. That's going to be really cool to see. I'm excited to see Agilities going somewhere that he's going to do really, really well in. Yeah, man. There's so many like, now that we're getting all our answers, we've had so many questions about where all these players are going, especially from the Toronto Defiant, just because, that's the team that we're really kind of focusing on and caring about a lot. A long lost Toronto Defiant player has found his way back to the Overwatch League as well. Our boy Yak Punning is going over the NYXL.
Yes, he.
I didn't think that was gonna happen.
I only know it was gonna a Halo of Thoughts had put a tweet about it a while ago, but all I know is Yatpun had a rough season in Toronto, but when he's been gone, his first time. Like a lot of people did though. I'll give him that. Like Toronto in season 1 had a good stage and then kind of fell apart.
Yeah,
and then except for once in stage, I think it was 4 when Toronto beat Shanghai. And it was just beautiful. And Magnachu and Gods hugged afterwards. But I'll never forget.
I forgot about him. Wow.
I'm of the opinion they should not have fucking dropped the Gods for Nevix. Gods was better. I'm just going to say that now. Gods actually looked really good. I was watching some 2019 games. Gods actually looked really good.
Yeah. Well, he was a part of that upswing when they were like, okay, let's try like English speaking. Let's put on all these different guys to see if it'll
they
work.
had committed to Gods and Shriek, they might have actually, if they'd given them a proper support, I think they may have actually done well. But yes, Yatpun. Okay, he did look really good in Korean Contenders. I'll give him that.
This is what you were telling me, and I haven't had a chance.
I didn't watch a lot of it, but I've seen other people say he was looked like O2 Blast. I think won Contenders with him as the main tank, and like once at least. And so like New York fans seem happy.
I'd be happy. I mean,
I don't know what to think about it. Like, is Yatpun better than Mono? I don't know. It's a different play style. That's a bit of I think Yatpun's more aggressive, so that maybe they want to play more aggressive. So they're building their team to be aggressive because all their players were very passive, like Mono, Animo, and all those guys were very and then they have fucking Hoppa though, who's like very aggressive. So that's why the team didn't work so much. Hoppa wants to kill, and Mono wants to slowly kill.
Mono wants to kill you, just slowly.
Like Mono's got a big rock. He's ready to throw it. And Mono's like got a bag of little rocks that will kill you eventually.
And just keep throwing them at your freaking face.
It's gonna be really annoying you. But then Hoppa's there, just throwing it. And then they signed Bianca as well for New York again. But I don't know what's the thing in New York. Time will tell. Fans are excited. They needed to rebuild. 3 seasons of being really good. They were on a decline since season 1 though. In season 1 they were one of the best teams in the world. Season 2, they still look pretty solid, and they actually finished strong. Season 3, they weren't like. I wasn't. I'm not sure what to say. I just like I was never really excited to watch them,
Yeah.
but I'm hopeful that this season they can build a good team.
Yeah, and so far so good. I mean, we'll have to see how Yakpung performs. We see how he does well in Korean Contenders, which is usually a good kind of measuring stick to see how they'll perform in the Overwatch League. But it'll be interesting to see how that transition goes and where NYXL really is going to end up on the leaderboards.
But you know what? I'm gonna say it now though. I was watching a little bit of the the Asia Pacific Gauntlet last night, and Australian Contenders team Ground Zero Gaming took a map off Runaway. So AU over KR. They
I'll
lost
be the first to say,
but for that one map, they held them for like almost 5 minutes on point B and then won.
yeah,
So,
that's nothing to spit at.
Who am I to say if Australia is better than Korea in Contenders? I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah, who am I to say that? But I'm still gonna say it.
I'm going to say it. I said yes. Whatever. You know what? Moving on.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be really interesting to see. But yeah, speaking of just like newer players coming in, we have this. I don't know. It's kind of exciting just because Path to Pro has been kind of a big question mark. Does it really work? Like we've had some like outliers like Swimmer and people like that who have gone through Path to Pro. But we have our first collegiate signing to the Overwatch League, not from Contenders, someone who's been playing.
Hello, Juby.
Yeah, like someone who was playing for their school team, not playing in Contenders. We got Juby on support coming over to the Houston Outlaws. And honestly, we wouldn't have caught this if we recorded yesterday. We had to actually push our recording day back a day, and we get to talk about this hot Goss that literally came out an hour ago.
It's pretty exciting. Like Juby had spent some time in Contenders like a while ago, like prior to going to school for I don't know what he was studying to be fair, but he was like he went on probably a Overwatch scholarship.
Yeah,
and so he looked already in Contenders. He's probably I haven't watched a lot of collegiate. I'll be up front. It's hard to catch it sometimes because sometimes I don't know when it's on.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing. Yeah,
and so all I know is if he got signed, he must have looked really good to impress Junbuck and Harsha.
Mm-hmm.
And Harsha spoke very highly of him and said he's going to be really good. But I don't know. Like, will it be good? Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
It will hopefully. I mean, it's a huge break from the mold, right? Like going from collegiate to Overwatch League is a huge step. It's not. It's definitely collegiate and Contenders. There's a huge step between the two, also. Mm-hmm. So it's really going to be interesting to see what the collegiate talent is going to look like and how he's going to do, because it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for this kid, and no. I'm just hopeful that the Outlaws give him the play time like on stage to really prove himself.
He's got to beat out Boink, Patrick. All right, let's be honest here. I know Boink's maybe not on the team because his option was declined, but God knows what they re-signed Boink.
I mean, according to Wikipedia, he's still on the Houston Outlaws.
I feel bad insulting Boink. It's not fun anymore. But
he was such a good boy in season 1. I loved him.
He didn't even play. Like he was benched for Bonnie in season 1. He played Lucio though for most of it. Bonnie was their mercy guy, and then like Boink was more of the Lucio.
Yeah.
But I remember watching season 2. I was like, why don't they just play Bonnie? One Canadian, so I was biased. But I don't know. They only played Bonnie like once accidentally. Yeah. It was just like they accidentally put him in the roster like he wasn't supposed to play.
Well, yeah, because they sent the roster list and his name was accidentally on the list. Wasn't that something like that happened, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Because they probably misspelled Boink and put Bonnie.
Yeah, that killed me. I thought that was so funny. He had to play because they gave the refs.
Only one map though. They were allowed to make a sub after that, so Bonnie was able to play one map. But funny enough, what this does, this pretty much completes Houston's roster, maybe, unless they sign another couple of players, because they've got a full tank line now. They've got DPS of Happy, Dante, KSF, and Hydration. So that's KSL also was signed, I think, earlier this week.
Mhm.
Like, so that's a good sign for them. And then now Juby and Crimzo as the sport line. Maybe Point. Probably not, but like, we'll put it out there. I don't know how this team will do. I think Junkbutt's a really good coach, so they've been performing trials, so it must have done something in those trials to really been like, all right, these are the boys we need.
Yeah, yeah, and it'll be interesting. I mean, Juby has some learning to do, and it'll be I don't know how the Outlaws are gonna do. That DPS lineup though sounds really, really good.
I know they wanted Nero, but the shock will say jump and he'll say hi, how high type of deal. That's how it goes.
Yeah,
But KSF's not a bad option, to be honest. He's pretty damn good. People underrate him a lot. Like, he's really flexible. He can play hit stand as well. So if you want to play double hit stand, KSF's right there. His Widow's pretty filthy. I don't know his Ash. I haven't seen him play that a lot, but his Hondo's pretty good. So yeah, no, they've got a good DPS line. Their tank line of Pity and Jadon. I'm gonna butcher it, but I think it's Jongu. I think just Pity and Jongu is the
right.
But they're coming from they pretty well regarded mostly, and so like I think they could be all right. I don't know if they'll be like setting the world on fire, but I think they're going to be better than last year. That's for sure, because they actually have a full tank line now.
They have a dedicated tank lineup, so
and Hydration can play what he's good at. No offense, people shit on Hydration now, but if you look back like before this season, he was pretty high regarded for his like DPS. So like, let him actually play it, and then he'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be nice to see Hydration kind of like rebuild his name again, just because being put in that situation, going to main tank, a role that you can play but you don't really actually play.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to see him actually going back to form. Hopefully, that's fingers crossed.
I doubt. Yeah, when he was signed last year, he's probably like, "Oh, I'll swap to tank mid-season." That's probably on his like, "Yeah, why not?" He's probably thinking, when they asked him, he's like, they probably looked around the room like, "Who can play main tank?" He just raised his hand slowly, I guess, and he took a sip of water. But yeah, no, I'm hyped for the Outlaws. I've always liked them. To be honest, I've always rooted for them. I remember in season 1, I was mostly because one thing they should redo is keep doing is that Focus series, which like that documentary series that followed the team. So if I didn't give a shit about the Outlaws until I started watching that series, and then I got connected to the players. Yeah. And so all teams should do that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, more content, please. And that brings us to the end of our podcast episode. Ethan, do you have any final words?
All I know is the future is looking interesting for Overwatch League in 2021. I'm excited, and I can't wait to see how the teams perform.
It's going to be sick, and we're going to be seeing all of it with you, the audience, next podcast.